Today, I'm going to have a break from the city and take on a project I've been putting off for quite a while. Last time, I got this inner city dock dug out and built, and the plan for today was to continue with this and bring this area to life. Unfortunately, inspiration hasn't hit me yet, and I also realised I've done 5 episodes in a row in the city, so I think it's time for a break and to do something different. I have got a lot of unfinished projects in this world, and today, I'm going to tackle what I think is the biggest one. What I want to do is extend the perimeter down into the new 1.18 caves. So basically, I'm going to blow everything up again. Most of this is going to be done with TNT dupers, but I would also like a few beacons set up for any manual digging. I do have about 8 beacons in total, but they're all in use somewhere or another. So with that in mind, I decided to set up a basic wither skeleton farm between episodes to get a few more skulls. If you're watching my ramble series, it's nothing as crazy as what I've done there. This is a very cheap manual farm, but it is a really good design, really easy to set up, and it's reasonably quick at getting quite a few skulls. And the reason I've chosen to do something like this is I do have a plan here to build an absolutely massive wither skeleton farm, and I also want to tick off something off my Minecraft bucket list, and that is to build a nether perimeter. So obviously, I don't want to start another massive project with everything else I've got going on, so I've just set up this basic one, and this eventually will all get removed when I build the bigger one. But even though it's quite basic, it did take a few hours of digging, getting shot at by gas and blazes, and generally bad times. I did also die and lose quite a few levels, but I don't want to talk about that. The one last thing to do in the city is cover up the villagers, as I really don't want them turning into witches, and after this, we can get over to the perimeter and figure out what's happening. Okay, so we're back over at the witch hut perimeter, and the first thing I want to talk about is an information mod I use called MiniHUD. And one of the many things this allows us to do is add shapes. It's like a visualization so we can see where we're going. So if you just open up MiniHUD and click on shapes, I'm just going to click on this drop down and go to despawn sphere, and then we just need to configure and enable it, and these coordinates here are exactly where I'm stood. So this is a sphere that will show us where we need to spawn proof if we're going to be standing right here. So everything inside this sphere needs to be removed at an absolute minimum. So if I'm going to be moving around in here, I would obviously like this to be a little bit bigger, but let's just have a jump down here and try and figure out what's happening. Okay, so as you can see, we're well past the midpoint of the sphere here. So below this water, it's actually going to start going in towards the middle. So technically, we don't need to do anything where I'm stood here and out towards the outer wall. That could stay. But you know what, I think I am actually going to remove it anyway, mainly just to keep it the same all the way down. And at the moment, I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to design this yet. I could keep it as a square, I may change it to a cylinder, or I may do something completely different altogether. So I think for now, just to give us the blank canvas, we will get rid of everything. Okay, so I've got everything I need here to start building these flying machines, but before we do that, let's have a look at what I got from Wither Skeleton Farm. In not too much time at all, I managed to get 15 skulls. So that means I can get myself 5 beacons. So let's go do that. And whilst I'm killing withers, I thought I might as well try and farm some wither roses. So with that in mind, I've put a few chickens into here and I've been collecting the eggs. And as you can see, we have a few shulker boxes already. So I'm going to take some of these into the end. And I'm going to get on with killing the wither. Okay, so let's get through into the end. Do a little bit of digging under the end portal. Set up the obsidian for where we're going to build the wither. A little bit more digging, and we should be about there. So I've got wither skeleton skulls. I'm ready to bring the eggs. But the key to getting the wither roses is poison potions, which I have brewed, but I forgot to bring them. So let's grab these, and a few made earlier, and let's get back there again. Right, so before we do this, I'm just going to grab the dragon egg off top of here, which has been here for absolutely ages now, but I don't know if building the wither under here would break this, so I might as well get it first, and we could get on with fighting the withers. So I'm just going to spam in a load of eggs, and then whilst holding a seed, I can throw a splash potion of poison at them. That'll weaken them greatly, and then when the wither explodes, they will all die instantly and turn it into wither roses. So now the withers are trapped under here, I can just do this over and over again and get myself a few nether stars. Okay, so back in the perimeter, I now have 5 nether stars, and I can turn these into 5 beacons, and then we can get these placed down. Alright, so I've grabbed a load of iron blocks, and now I can get these beacons placed down. So I'm placing them 50 blocks away from the centre, so in these positions, they will cover an area that is 200 by 200, which will definitely do the job of this middle section that I want to get rid of first. And the idea behind the beacons is really to get rid of the stone after I've got all the water done, but then it should also help when I'm digging out the sponges as well, because they can be a bit of a pain. And then it's also a handy reference on the area that I need to dig out as well. Okay, so let's get on with removing this water. So on me here, I have 4 full shulker boxes of dirt. So I'm hoping this is going to be somewhere near enough. So let's just grab a load of this and get down there and try and figure out where we're going. Okay, so I'm at the edge of the sphere, and if we just look up this way, I'm directly in line with it. So I'm just going to start placing the blocks down here, and then we can go all the way around the edge at this same distance. And I always underestimate how many blocks I need to do something like this. It's an absolutely ridiculous area. But now that bit is done around the edge, we can start sectioning off some of this. Putting down rows of these blocks, splitting them into strips, and then we can go through with sponges. Okay, so I've left these 7 wide, which is slightly wider than I would normally do this. But as it's only 1 deep, it should be okay. So let's just give this a try and see how it works. Right, that's left one flowing. This could be difficult. If I just place them fairly close together like this, that should, yeah. That shouldn't be too bad. So I'm going to have to spam these down quite a lot and dry them out, but hopefully it should be fairly quick. And then to dry them out, I'm just taking them into the nether, placing them down, and then digging them back up with a hoe. And then we can go back and do the rest of it over and over again. And I sectioned this off into roughly a quarter of the entire area, just so I could try and figure out how long the whole thing was going to take. And doing this first quarter here took nearly an hour, and I really don't want to do that another 3 times, and then around the edge as well. I think I've got an idea though for making this go a bit quicker, and if not, it'll be more fun anyway. So as I'm using flying machines for the bombing, I thought I might as well try and use them to remove the water. If you look for tutorials on YouTube or elsewhere for water removal flying machines, they are quite complicated, as usually they need to move down through a few levels of water. In this case, I've only got 1 layer though, so let's try and figure it out. Right, so I can't put the slime at the bottom level, so we'll go 1 up and then attach blocks under there. I might as well just use dirt, and we can pull that across with the slime blocks. I can then replace the end one with a piston and an observer behind that, so it'll reach a bit further. That then means I can space these 2 blocks apart, and the pistons will replace the water in between. Okay, so running this first one, everything seems to be working okay. It's just that I didn't clear out all the water behind it, so it's recreating after the flying machine gets out of the way. So I just need to remember to clear everything out, and then it should be good. Right, let's get the rest of these built and get all of this water out. Alright, so that's all done, and this is looking much better and ready for some digging. I do have some bad news though. I used a few sponges to clear the smaller areas where it wasn't really worth building flying machines, and I missed picking 2 of them up, so I've lost 2 of my sponges. Could have been worse though, so let's move on. The next plan is to put my beacons to use and do a bit of digging. Firstly, to lower the ground a little bit so I can build the flying machine slightly lower, and also to clear some space around the water streams. I quickly realised though this is more trouble than it's worth because of how slow it is to get through deepslate even with haste 2. Whilst doing this, I also started thinking about designs for this area, and I'm leaning towards something a bit more organic. So these straight lines of water streams will definitely need to be redone in different shapes. If I remove them now, it will definitely make this process easier. So I'm going to abandon the digging. So we'll remove the water streams to make things a lot easier with doing the bombing. And this did take a while because even with haste 2, removing packed ice and glass, definitely a massive pain, and the noise is horrible. Then we can get rid of all of the beacons, and I quickly went round and removed all of the obsidian that I could see. And yeah, there will be lots more lava to remove, but I can do that as the flying machines do their thing. Alright, now we can get on with building some flying machines. Okay, so my plan is to go out from the centre in each cardinal direction to split the area into 4. Just like I did last time, and then I can work on each quarter separately. So this is the same design I used when I first did this perimeter, which is from a tutorial by Nitro Zombie, and I will obviously put a link to that in the description down below. So the first thing we need is some immovable blocks. Now you can do this with furnaces or any other immovable block, but I just like to use obsidian. So once we've got that in, we can put the lamps on top, and this is what's going to make the machines set off again once they get back. The platform to work from. Then after that, we can finally start building the flying machine. So there's mainly slime blocks and observers. Nice and easy, and the tutorial's great, so check it out. I won't explain everything here. And then once we've done the flying machine, we can build the TNT duper on the front. And this is a scary bit. I do get this wrong quite a lot, but, you know, this one's gone alright. Okay, so I've put the obsidian in the far end, so the flying machines will hit these and return. And as you can see, I also have some test victims down there. Just going to trim this wall back a bit to avoid any accidents. And then back on the control platform, I can switch this lever, which will make this machine set off. Right, so I'm just going to let this thing do 1 pass across, and it's all looking good so far. And then after that first pass, this is the damage, and I would say that is really good just for one machine going back and forth, and I can already see the cave still there, so this is going very well. Right, so I'm going to get the rest of this group built up, and I always build these in groups of 11 because that's how far the redstone signal will reach across this platform, and once we've done that, we can run it for real. Okay, so I've got the rest of these built up now, so I thought I'd bring you back in for the dangerous bit. Placing the TNT, and of course it had to be raining. I'm just going along each of these, placing the TNT, and it looks like I've done everything right. So let's dig back a bit of this temporary platform so the TNT doesn't land there, and now I can activate all of these dupers by extending them, and it's all going well apart from the fact I've missed one there. So let's build this and activate the rest. Okay, all good, so let's get this thing running, and the first pass is always worrying, as even though this thing's built about 20 blocks above the surface, if I'm really unlucky, the TNT could get thrown up and destroy some or all of the flying machines. So once the ground gets lower, that is obviously less likely to happen, but on this first pass I was a bit unlucky and one of the machines lost one slime block, so now it isn't moving. Should be easy to fix, but I'll do that after I've run the others down to bedrock. So this is the result of that first pass, which is really good. But as you can see, I have a lot of water and lava to deal with. So I've grabbed a few shulkers of gravel, and this is just a case of manually removing it, then running the machines until I need to do this again. Okay, ready for the second pass? This is going really well. No more water or lava, and everything is now cleared down to bedrock, which didn't take much time at all. Just need to fix that one machine and set it running again. Right, so now we can move on to the south section and building up another set of 11 flying machines and TNT tubers. This section actually only took me 21 minutes to build, and considering how quickly it tears through this deep slate, I'd say that's a good use of my time. After getting all of these built, I set them off, and one broke immediately, and then at the other end, another 4 of them, which isn't great. And you might be thinking, I should build them higher in the first place to avoid this happening, but I happen to know this is the exact height to reach down to bedrock. If I build them higher, then I would definitely need to rebuild them anyway, so I'm happy to just take the risk building them at this height, knowing that I'll have to rebuild a few, rather than definitely build all of them again lower down. Then it was on to the east side, so I got everything running, and only 2 broke on the first run this time, so that wasn't too bad. And there was a little bit of water and lava to deal with, but that's no problem. Then after the first pass, I got those broken ones fixed, set everything off again, and there was a ton more water and lava, and then a little bit of obsidian at the bottom, so not too much of a problem. Got rid of all that and got everything done down to bedrock. Then I accidentally placed TNT next to a powered block and blew up my shulker boxes. Wasn't very happy, but it didn't destroy them, so let's carry on. Then on to the west section. Pretty much same again, had a few explode, and there was a ton of water and lava to deal with, but not too many problems, and we got this one all the way down to bedrock as well. And then after that, rather than going and splitting these into quarters, because I didn't want to remove the drop shafts from the witch huts, I decided to just go straight across from east to west, and just do as much damage as possible in one go. After that section, I removed the center section and allowed them to fly all the way across, so I didn't have to rebuild them all. I had a bit of an accident removing one of the sections and ran out of coral fans, so I had to find another coral reef, but I made sure to get a good supply this time. And the next big challenge was a huge water cave to the northeast above the big lava lake. I split it up into sections using gravel and placed sponges to remove it all, so you get the idea. Let's get the rest of this done. Okay, that is now all done. Look at it, we've got everything right down to bedrock, and this looks unbelievable now. I always thought this looked good before when I got it done originally, But now this goes all the way down. It looks absolutely crazy. So I know it looks very rough at the moment and we have a lot of work to do, definitely. But I think this is a very good start. As you can see, the witches are flowing, which is great news. Now I've got all this done. I'm not in my AFK spot, so it's not perfect. But yeah, look at that. Coming in nice and fast. And having these drop shafts here did make placing these flying machines a little bit awkward, as you can see with the obsidian there and there. I've had to work around them and it was a little bit of a pain, but you know what? It's all done. I can't complain. It's all done. And we'll go down there and have a look in a second. But before that, let's have a look at the good stuff. So while I've been doing all this, obviously I've uncovered a lot of diamonds. And when I had the chance, I did actually go down there and grab a few. And this is what we ended up with. And that's not too bad at all. Very happy with that. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with them. I don't really need diamonds at the moment. May use this for a bit of decoration down here once we get everything built up. But you know what? I'll take that anyway. Okay, so we're a bit lower down now, just below my AFK spot. And this is how things are looking. So I did actually build them a little bit lower than I should have done, but I did actually do that on purpose, because what I was thinking was I could place some other blocks down here, but I think what I'm going to do is actually keep the deep slate at this level. So I have been filling it in this centre bit. So let's just turn on the shape again from MiniHUD and we'll see what's going on. Turn the light levels off. What I've basically been doing is trying to fill in this circle, because this is the part that needs spawn proofing. So obviously this won't spawn proof it, but I do have a few ideas for what I want to do. But I need to get the technical stuff sorted first. I need to get all the items coming in, because at the moment they are just dropping down and despawning on the floor. On this one, they don't even drop down that far because we have a huge lava lake there to deal with, so we'll need to get that sorted. And then you'll see these pools here, and these are the slime chunks that are in the centre circle. I've covered those with water so we don't get any more slime spawning here, but we also have one in this tower as well, so I need to figure that out. And I have left this here for now, but this will probably be removed. There was just no way of getting a flying machine over here, and that's the same for the areas that are below each of the drop shafts as well. I'm going to have to set up beacons and mine those out manually, but that's no problem because, you know what, I've done all of this and not had to do a single bit of mining, so I'm good with that. And that was the good news, but unfortunately we do also have some bad news. We're down to 61 sponges. I lost 2 earlier when I was doing the water removal just by forgetting to pick 2 up, but I also did the same thing when I was clearing out the water that the flying machines uncovered. So yeah, lost 3 sponges, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I can live with that. But I did also have a major disaster as well. As you will notice, I am now wearing diamond armor and all diamond tools apart from that pickaxe. When I was doing one of the last sections, I got a little bit greedy. I saw a diamond ore and I flew down to get it as the flying machines were coming back. I should have had enough time to do it, but I got really unlucky. One of the TNT just got thrown at me and it exploded right in my face and I couldn't do anything about it. That wouldn't have been too much problem in normal circumstances, but because I had TNT dropping constantly, all my items got blown up. The only thing that got away was the pickaxe. So unfortunately, I had to go gear up again. Losing all that gear forced me to do something I've been meaning to do for absolutely ages and set up an enchanting area in my gold farm. So it's not the prettiest thing in the world. I know I need to decorate this better, but you know what? For now, it's functional and it's allowed me to get all of this gear. So I do have pretty much, that's really loud, I do have pretty much the same enchantments as I had before. I've got everything I could possibly need, and I did have quite a few spare elytras, so that wasn't a problem. And yeah, we've got pretty much everything. I've got smite on my sword now instead of sharpness, which isn't ideal, but I'll probably try and get another one with sharpness. And then everything, I just need to get mending on there. I think we're pretty good. And the pickaxe I already had anyway. And I have started on doing a few spares as well, so I've got an absolute ton of shovels now. A few of them efficiency 5, and then a few pickaxes that are all pretty good. And I do also have another 2 netherite pickaxes as well. A few spare elytra there. So yeah, we're pretty good for gear. I need to get some more netherite, and I don't have it here, but I do have 8 ancient debris, so I can do another 2 netherite ingots, so I can do a couple of things anyway. But I'll do a bit more mining between episodes, and we'll get back up to netherite. So it wasn't a complete disaster, but you know, I could have done without it. Okay, so back in the perimeter, and let's have a look at the situation we've got at the moment. So this is what's happening. We just have the drops just falling down here, and they are despawning at the minute. I do collect them every now and then, but you know, manually sorting, can't be doing that. So what I want to do is have the water streams at this height as they were before on the old bedrock. It's going to be at the new bedrock now, and they're going to go somehow into the centre and just up that item stream. I'm going to keep that exactly as it is, rather than seeing them as we did before in like a high-tech looking build. What I want to do with this area, I've decided now because I've had a long time to think about it. I've been working on this for close to 3 weeks now. It's an absolutely ridiculous amount of time. and I haven't kept track of the number of hours because that would probably upset me. But what I've come up with is, if we just turn on MiniHUD again, what I want to do is obviously spawn proof the middle of this so nothing can spawn inside this circle here. What I want to do here is start building up walls diagonally up there. So what I'm going for in the end is for this to look like a crater. What I want to try and achieve is make it look like this crater is from an impact thousands, maybe millions of years ago, so it's all lush and grown back. So we'll start off with like a stone hole in the ground, basically, not like this, but a nice round one, and then on top of that we can have all the grass. Maybe, as it's a swamp, the grass might not work too well, and the water is definitely a horrible colour, so we'll try and stay away from the water. But I think I'm going to have like a lot of moss and clay, maybe make it look like the lush caves. And then we can have these tall structures coming out of the ground holding up this. So we're not going to see a lot of what's below here, because the walls are going to go diagonally and probably meet just at the bottom where the drop shaft is at the minute. But then all the water streams are going to be below all of that, and then everything will meet in the middle as it did before and go straight up into the sorting area. But that is definitely going to be something for next time. I have spent way too long on this episode and I really want to get it out now. But next time we're going to have a lot of fun building up this area, because, you know, I've had enough of destroying things. I just want to make things look pretty. So next time we'll get on with doing that. So if you have enjoyed this episode, please do leave a like, and I'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.